Liz Trotter here, and I'm super excited that I get to be one of the presenters at the Maid Service Success Summit. Thank you, Amar, for inviting me. I'm really passionate and excited about my topic today, employees first, and stop the churn. I think that it's kind of common nowadays. People think that you're going to have employees, whoa, what'd I do there? Sorry, I advanced. But people think it's kind of common nowadays that if you're going to have employees, that you have to just expect that it's going to be a constant churn. Everybody has heard that never stop hiring, you just need to keep hiring, and yeah, that's great, especially if you're growing, we love that. But there's no reason why you have to keep churning in your employees and turning them over like crazy. Not to say that it's not going to happen, because it absolutely is going to happen. People don't stay with jobs the way they used to back in the day. They change jobs. On average nowadays, millennials change jobs, according to the newest research, approximately every 2.5 to 3 years. So, but you're not going to be expecting them to stay 10, 15 years, but 2.5, that's reasonable. 2 years, reasonable, right? So what I want to talk about today is how to do that, how to go about doing it. And this first page here is about the why. For your employees, there needs to be a big why for them about why they should stay with you, why they should be in the cleaning industry, why they should care about cleaning, why they should work for you. What's so great about you? What's so great about your company? They need to have a big why. And so I just have a couple of books here that talk about the why and how important the why is, not just for your employees, but also for you. Because if you don't have a really good why, you're also going to struggle. You're going to struggle finding people. You're going to struggle doing things that you really are passionate about yourself, not getting sucked into the day-to-day, not getting sucked into doing the things that you have to do instead of the things that you want to do. So you need to have a powerful why. So Tony Hsieh, he is the founder of Zappos. I'm sure you guys have all heard of him. His big thing that he's really great at is finding good employees. He's also good at culture and keeping employees, but I think the way he finds employees is really unique. So check out some information about Zappos and find out, how does Tony Hsieh go about finding employees, and what does he do that's a little bit different? I think a lot of people have heard about his hiring bonus. I think it might be $1,000. Basically, if you don't want to work here, I'll give you $1,000 to leave if you don't want to be all in. Find out more about that by reading up on it a little bit. Next one is Mark Murphy, Hiring for Attitude. This book is about the way UPS does its hiring, and a lot about the interviewing process and how they interview and the purpose of interviewing questions and behavioral analysis. So it's a really interesting book as well. Simon Sinek, Leaders Eat Last. He has quite a few different books, but I really like this book to help us figure out that yes, we're the bosses, and yes, we own the company, and yes, we're in charge, but without our people, what are we? We're nothing. We're not getting any work done. So the Leaders Eat Last really help you figure out how to keep your people, what makes them stay. Chris Bosch, she wrote Culture Works, and this talks about the motivation. This book talks a lot about how to motivate your people and how to get them to want to do more for your company, and want to do great job cleaning, and want to be an excellent employee for you. Fun book, and it's really got a lot of, there's a workbook that goes along with that book that I highly recommend, and it gives you specific tasks to do and gives you some exercises that you can do with your people and on yourself to figure out exactly what you need to do next and how to get to where you need to be. And then the Harvard, I'm going to pretend like English is my first language. The Harvard Business Review, hbr.org. This is just a wealth of information. If you haven't checked out the Harvard Business Review, please do if you're trying to stop that churn, because they have just so much more information than you'll even know what to do with. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is, as far as your employees staying with you, I think that one of the things people don't know is you're in control. You actually have a lot more power than you think you do. When I'm talking to business owners all around the country, we do a lot of coaching through CKI. I guess I should have said that. Who I am. I hope it's in my bio. I know it's in my bio. But we do a lot of coaching with people around the country. And one of the things that I hear all the time that's painful for me is that the employer, the business owner, starts feeling like they're not in control, they're not in charge, that the employees are running the show or trying to take over. And the more they feel that way, the more they push back, and the more they get into struggles with their employees, and they find it harder and harder to keep their employees, creating sort of a doom loop. What they think is going to happen and how they feel creates this actual thing that's happening, where they actually do really make it so that it's hard for the employees to work with them. So I want you to know, you really are in control. You have all the power. You just have to be remembering to do the right things to get your people on the right page. And so here are the 4 basic things. Now there's one more thing that I don't have on here, but I'm going to hit these 4 real quick, and then I'm going to tell you what the other one is. Start thinking right now, what do you think that other one is that Liz is going to say? But the first one is matter. You need to show these people how they matter. When employees or potential employees are coming to your company and they are interested in having a job, when they're first coming, they need to know how they're going to matter in your company. And then when they get there, they need to know from you and from the other people around them how they matter, how they're important, how they personally fit in to your ecosystem. If they don't feel like they matter and that they're important, they're not going to stay, right? So this is a different type of a mindset for some of you that are like, well, I'm giving them a job. What more do they want from me? They want a lot more. And especially nowadays, they want a whole heck of a lot more. Now, you don't have to throw money at them, and we're going to talk a lot about this, but you do have to make them feel like they matter to you and to the company. All right, the next one is meaning. What kind of meaning is there in your job? Especially the millennial workforce. They really want to feel like there's some type of meaning in their work, that it's not just drudgery. A lot of this generation watched their parents work 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-hour weeks, no time for their family, no time for vacations, didn't do anything. A lot of you right now, I know, are nodding, thinking, so true. I still am doing that. I know. And the people that are coming to work for you, they don't want to be in that boat. They do not want to work those hours. They do not want to feel like a slave to their job. They have been conditioned to think that they need something better from their lives and that they need balance. You hear a lot nowadays about work-life balance. That's a big thing. So they need to feel like what they're doing is somehow giving meaning to their lives, to the people in their lives, and maybe to the community or the industry, to somebody. there needs to be some meaning in the job that they're doing. Now, all the different companies are going to have a different meaning. You don't have to have the same meaning as any other company. The meaning that they derive from working in your company might be that they get to help maybe parents. I'm sorry, I got distracted by my phone. I apologize. Maybe they are going to derive meaning from helping parents be able to provide really wonderful lives for their children and have more time to spend with their children and not spend their time cleaning the home. Maybe that's how they get meaning. I don't know what the meaning is going to be for you in your company, but there needs to be some type of meaning. Maybe it is about you providing jobs for people that are traditionally struggling to find jobs. And so part of what your company does is provide jobs for maybe people that are underprivileged, or maybe they've had some trouble in their background, so they struggle to find jobs. Maybe that's what you're doing. So you're providing meaning in that way. I don't know what it is. It could be anything that you actually care about. That is sort of a little bit of a trick there, or a secret. You need to actually care about this thing, and it needs to feel like a real true meaning for you. If you're passionate about it, your people will be passionate about it, and they'll do it because it matters to you, and then it will matter to them. They'll feel like they're really making a difference. Now, the third thing is they need to be measured. So a lot of times I hear a lot about how people are like, I don't think people like to be measured. They don't want to know when they're doing bad. They only want to hear when they're doing good. They only want pats on the back. And I will argue with you. I'll argue up one side and I'll argue down the other side, because people want true measurement. They want to know how they're doing. They want to be able to believe that they're doing a good job and that they're doing well, and they want to know what it is that they need to do even better. They want to do that. And I know some of you right now are in your heads are like, oh, she's crazy. The people that work for me don't care about their jobs at all. They do. I promise that they really do. They just need to be given information and incentives and things in a little bit different way than you might be used to giving it to them. And they really do want to be measured. I don't know if any of you have heard of my friend Martha that owns Quality Driven Software, and her whole entire program is around measurement and getting people to be motivated and incentivized by measurement, because it works. All right, and the last one here is accountability. And I'm going to talk on the next slide all about accountability because it's a little bit tricky. People struggle a little bit with accountability. But before we get there, remember I said there were four things here: matter, meaning, measure, and accountability. But there's one more thing that isn't mentioned here, and it's just sort of over everything, and this is celebration. So there needs to be some celebration for your company, your business, for you, for your people. And I'm not talking about a big, huge party and having to have like streamers and all of that stuff going on. I'm not talking about that, but there needs to be at least some feeling of celebration that we're awesome, you're awesome, they're awesome, that we are doing a really good thing here. We're doing a good thing together too. All right, so let's move on to accountability. So accountability, I like to think of it this way, that it is simple, S-I-M-P-L-E. It helps me remember what they are, the order of things, because the order does matter when you're dealing with accountability. All right, so the very first thing is to hold people accountable. You have to set the expectation, and you have to set it really clearly. If you find that somebody isn't meeting your expectations, if they aren't being accountable to the job or to you or to whatever it is that you expected them to be, go here, check. Did you set the expectations clearly? Can they tell you what's expected of them? If they can't, you need to set those a little bit better. All right, this is hugely, hugely, hugely important that the expectations are set according to their understanding, not according to you just saying. Okay, that's not enough. They have to hear it in a very, very big way. All right, the second thing is invite commitment. And what do I mean by this? I mean, get them to want to commit to whatever it is that you want them to do. So instead of making them do the thing, telling them what they have to do, making them, pushing, berating, any of those other words, instead of that stuff, invite, be inviting. Ask them to be committed. Find out how they can help you. Ask what they can do for you, how they can help. So invite their commitment. It's the way I'm saying it probably sounds a little too like namby-pamby, all like squishy mushy, but it doesn't have to be. It can be, so this is what we expect from you. Do you think you can do that? Does it make sense for you? Is this a job that sounds like it would work for you? And they say yes. Now they are already committed, beginning the stage of getting committed to the job. All right, next thing is measure progress. Again, measurement, right? But when you are asking people to be accountable, you have to measure their progress. How are they doing? Where are they so far as where you wanted them to go? Are they there? Are they done? Have they met their accountability standards or your accountability standards? If not, what's next? Going into the next thing of P, provide feedback. Tell them exactly what it is, what you saw them not doing, what you saw them doing, and what it is that you need next from them, which takes us to link to results. So when you're talking to them about the feedback that you have, link the feedback that you give them to the results that you're expecting from them. Linking right back up there to setting those expectations, right? So whatever expectations that you have, link all of that together. So for example, let's say you have somebody that, let's say they got some feedback from a client that said, you know, the floors weren't done well, right? So when you're giving that feedback to your employees, you would say something along the lines of, remember, keeping in mind, providing feedback, linking results, meeting the expectations, right? So it sounds like Mrs. Johnson wasn't happy with her floors. So, you know, it's really important that we have floors that are rating a 5 out of 5 when they're going to score us. Otherwise, back to expectations, we can't be the best company in the city. All right, so whatever the expectation is that you're expecting, let's say that was the expectation now. So you want to make sure that you are linking all of these things together so that it's not about them doing something wrong. It's just about we're not getting the results that we want and we're not hitting our own expectations. And you'll notice I'm talking a lot about our expectations and what we want, not what you want and not what they're doing wrong. Right? It's all about us. All right, and then the last thing is evaluate the effectiveness. So once you've given the feedback, you've linked it to the results, check in. How's it going? How effective was your coaching? How effective is your training? How effective is the feedback that you gave them? How are they doing? How are your results, the results that you're getting? All right, so that's what accountability is. It's sort of a loop that says, here's what I want from you. Let's start doing it. We're going to check in with you. We're going to see if you're doing it what we want. We're going to give you some feedback. We're going to course correct a little bit. We're going to check in. Yeah, we're doing really well, and we're going to continue that. All right? Hopefully that was clear. All right. Now, this slide is talking about the 8 phases of relationships. And I'm not sure that people think about the relationship between a boss and an employee, but there's an actual relationship there. Now, if you are, what's it called? An absentee owner, right? Then you still need to worry about relationships. Maybe the relationship that you'd be talking about is with you and your managers. Otherwise, the relationship would be between the manager and the supervisor, or the supervisor and the technician. But there are relationships and there are different phases to these relationships. So what we're going to be talking about today is I'm going to be talking about the relationship in terms of you. When I say you, I mean the person that is onboarding and finding, hiring, keeping, and motivating the employees, whoever's responsible for that. That's who you is. Assuming that you as the owner are in a position in your company where you have to make these things happen. Otherwise, take this whole presentation and hand it off to whoever's doing that. All right. So there are 8 basic phases. The first one is the assessment phase, where they're assessing you and your job and other jobs, all jobs. They're looking for a place to work. So employees, they're assessing all of their options. They're looking around. In this phase, they really want to feel like they matter. They're also looking for some meaning in their job, but typically in this phase, we might think that they're looking for meaning, but what they're really looking for is more matter. They want to feel that they're going to be able to matter in this job in some way. Okay? We'll talk a lot about that in a little bit. And the second phase is where they're accepting a job from you. And in this phase, they want to feel like there is some meaning in this job. They're thinking, okay, we can work together. I'll work with you. I'll check it out. Let's try. And this is where you have an opportunity to show them some meaning. And the next phase is the affirmation phase, where you're affirming that, or they're affirming that this is actually a job that they want. This is kind of a weird phase because a lot of times I don't think people even recognize this phase. They think they looked for a job, they accepted my job, and now good to go. But have you guys had that situation where you hire somebody and then they never show up for work on that first day? What the heck? That's because you didn't pass the affirmation phase. They went home, they started having second thoughts about how hard the job is, or dirty, or it's hot. They don't really like those uniforms. Their family was like, what? You're going to clean toilets all day? Oh, ooh, how much are they paying you? And they did not make it through that affirmation phase. So the next phase is they did make it, yay, and they come in and activate. This activation phase, day 1. And during this phase, you're really pushing matter, meaning, and measure on day 1. You want them to see all 3 of these things in action on day 1. And I know I'm making it sound like, oh my gosh, it's such a big English. How am I going to do this? But I promise, I'm going to show you. I'm going to break it down. It's going to make it a lot easier. All right, next phase is the acclimate phase, where they're acclimating to the job. They're starting work. They're starting to get a little bit of a hang of it, right? They're starting to figure out where they belong, etc. And in this phase, they are worried about matter, meaning, and measure. All 3 of these again. They need to know how they fit in. What exactly are we doing here? What's important? And how do I know if I'm doing a good job or not? All right. Next phase is the accomplishment phase, where they're seeing what they've accomplished, right? Basically, think of this as payday. Usually it's your first accomplishment day, unless you have, sometimes your accomplishment phase might be around training and testing. So if you have maybe a shorter training phase in your company, then it might come, your testing might come before their payday measurement, but typically payday comes before they get any kind of a testing measure, right? So we'll be talking about that. The next phase is in the adoption phase, where they're actually adopting you as their company. Like they get it. They're now talking about your company as their company. When they talk about your company, they say things like, we do blah, blah, blah. We do this. When somebody else is talking about anything to do with cleaning, they'll say things like, yeah, but what we do at wherever, right? I think today I'm in my Castle Keepers garb. They would be saying, yeah, what we do at Castle Keepers is, because they're part of it. They get it, right? And in that phase, they care about all the stuff: matter, meaning, measure, and accountability. And we will be talking about how these accountability especially folds in at the end here, because I know it's a little bit tricky. Advocate, that's the last phase here. It's when they are a strong advocate for your company, that now they are all about your company being the one that is right. So even more than they were in the adopt phase, when they got it and they're like, yeah, this is what we do. Now it's more about what we do is the right way to do it. What we do is better than what everybody else does. And they see it that way. That's how they actually feel it. And that's what they push out into the world, into all of their relationships. All righty. Now, the 5 love languages, this comes from a book. I'm sure that a lot of you have heard of it, called The 5 Love Languages. There's another one, though, that's the 5 love languages at work. It might not even be love languages, I'm not sure. And these languages are the acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, and gifts. So we'll be talking a lot about what these are over time, but these are ways that people can feel like they matter. So through acts of service means that you do something for them. Giving them quality time, just spending time with them in some different ways, which we'll be talking about. Words of affirmation, telling them nice things, hearing wonderful things about themselves and their work. Physical touch, of course, this is milder, a touch on the shoulder. Some people would appreciate a hug. If you're not a physical toucher, no problem. You don't have to do any of these things. These are just ways that people feel like they matter. And then the last one is gifts. Now, most people are going to fall into those first 3 as the most important ones for them. So plan on spending most of your resources on acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation. Some gifts, yeah. Some free breakfast, oh yeah, of course, people like that. A quick touch on the shoulder, a pat on the back when somebody does a good job, of course. High five, yay. All of those things are great. Those first 3, those are the biggies for people most of the time. All right, these are the tools of connecting with people. Remember, we're trying to get that connection so that they feel like they belong in our company, right? So how do you connect with people? It's hard if you don't actually think of these things as tools, but they are, so you got to use them, and we're going to be talking a lot about them. So the first one is email. Email is a tool. Now, a lot of people aren't using email as much as they used to, but people still do use email, and you can still use it too. It's a little bit more formal now than it used to be, now that we have texting, right? All right, the next one is snail mail. Mail that actually goes to the post office, spends 3 or 4 days out there in the world, driving around, and then lands in somebody's mailbox. You hardly ever see snail mail anymore. People don't use it, but you can. And it is a great tool. And when people get mail, because they don't very often, it does feel special. Next one is phone, using the phone. You can call people, you can text them, just using your phone in some way. Social media, connecting with people through social media. That one's obvious. Video, you can connect with people through video, personal videos. You can do a quick snap. That's what Snapchat is, right? Quick snap. You can send a Facebook Live. You can put a Facebook Live in your own personalized Facebook group. There's lots of ways to use video. And gifts, we talked about gifts. Those are pretty obvious what those are. Acts of service, those are things that you do for other people. So for your employees, that's a tool. When you're using that act to gain connection, it's actually a tool that you're using. You're doing something for them. And let me give you a quick example. Let's say that somebody's, you see somebody walking around and the hem on their pants is out. You could say something along the lines of, hey, you need to get your pants fixed. Or you could say, hey, I saw your pants, the hem is coming out. Talk to Mindy. She's got the address of 3 seamstresses in the area. And actually, if you want, put it on my tab. I'll even take care of it for you, right? So you can get an access service and a gift all at the same time. That hem's going to cost you maybe $5. You might not even do it. She's probably going to go home, tape it up, iron it up, maybe stitch it, olden days, right? But she's going to appreciate the act of service, right, that you offered to do the service for her. And just giving her the name is an act of service. All right, next one, quality time. Quality time is spending any time with people that is, oh my gosh, it sounds ridiculous, but quality time. Time that is not just doing nothing or talking about what's wrong or talking to them about what they've done wrong or fixing their problem, but something to do with them, about them, that will have an impact for them, not for you, for them. That's the distinction for quality time. All righty. So in this first stage, we're going to hit the stages now. We're going to talk a little bit about them. Is the assessment stage is where they're assessing the job, right? They're looking. We're worried about matter and meaning. And this is when we're finding people. We're trying to, oops, sorry about the little pop-up there. When we're trying to find people, these are some things that you can do. Some tools. These are your tools over here on the left, email, snail mail, etc. The ones on the in the red are the ones that you can use really easily when you're in this assessment phase with employees, meaning they're not your employees yet. They're just random people out there in the world that hopefully want to work at your cleaning company, right? So one of the things you can do is in your ad, you can use videos or pictures of employees, get some connection there. You can personalize the response to the queries. So if people ask for something, they say, where are you located? Rather than giving them a standard, a template that kicks out an answer, you could say, you could have somebody in your office giving them a real answer, like, oh, do you know where Costco is? We're just 3 miles away from there, getting a dialogue going. And also in your ad, what's in it for them? Okay, so what is at your company that is specifically designed for them? Meaning, why should they come to work for you? Have that be the first part of your ad. A lot of times I'll see ads that say right off the bat that you have to have this, you have to do this, you have to have a license, you have to whatever. All of those things are great. You might really need all of those things, but they're not, that's not how you hook people. You gotta hook them with that ad. Find some way to hook them. And you can do that through your ad somehow. So email and the interview is probably a little bit easier way to use more of these tools. Because in your ad, you don't have as many options, right? We're on social media, we're at a platform, Indeed, Craigslist, ZipRecruiter, something like that. but we can still use like our videos and our pictures. You can use Facebook, you can use social media, you can use your calling and texting once they've responded to your ad, which is what I was talking about with the personalizing the response to the queries, right? You can also quality time. People appreciate when you spend time, which is what I was talking about with the personalizing the response to the queries. All right, so interview. What can you do in the interview? So you can spend time with them. Most of the time, we don't want to spend time with people that are interviewing with us, right? Because they're wasting our time. There's so many of them, and they're not going to show up anyway for the first day, and but you can find a way to spend time with them. Maybe you have a group interview, and so you spend 15 minutes talking to 15 people instead of 15 minutes talking to one person and then 15 minutes to another person, or instead of spending 1 minute with 15 people. You're going to have better luck spending the 15 minutes so that they see that you are actually helping them to understand about your company. Some assessments. Maybe you can do some assessments with them during the interview. And these for your people will feel a lot like quality time, and they also feel like a gift if you do them right. So if you do like a DISC assessment with them, there are a lot of different DISC assessments, but if you do, give it to them. Let them take it home. Tell them how it can impact their life and their family and what kind of information. Don't just take it and go, oh, good information for me. How about some good information for them? If you have them do a love language test or a platinum rule assessment, then give them that information. Maybe give them a blank one so that they can do the same thing with somebody in their family, so they can take it back with them. Core value cards. So if you don't know what core value cards, this is a product that we sell through Castle Keepers Institute, CKI. I have the address later on in the presentation, but these are cards that help you to understand what your core values are and to hire people that will fit your core values, that care about the same things that you care about. And then let them talk with other employees. Let your employees talk with them. Let them talk with your employees. That feels different to them. That feels like, maybe they matter a little bit, and maybe there is some type of meaning in this company. All right, next phase is accept. The acceptance phase, they're thinking, okay, we're going to work together. During this phase, you need to show them some meaning, right? So here are the ways, the tools that you can use on the left here: social media, video and pictures, some gifts, quality time. This is during the hiring phase. So show some excitement. That's the first thing. If you want them to believe in your meanings, you got to show some excitement or some enthusiasm. And here are some ideas. You can post on Facebook that you're excited to hire them. You can, or wherever, Instagram, Snap, I don't care, whatever you use to as your social media platform, post there that you're excited to hire them. Take their picture and post it in the office. Maybe have a board. Welcome Suzanne, our newest team member. Yay! On that first day, or not the first day, after their interview, when you've had them, send them home with a gift. Doesn't have to be anything great, but you can send them home with something. Can you? Can you send them home with a little gift bag that just has a couple of little things in it? Maybe it has a squeezy toilet from your company, or a pen, a little pad of paper. It doesn't have to be anything amazing, a bottle of water, right? Send them home with a gift. When people get a gift, they feel less like they want to blow you off. It's less comfortable to blow you off. And then introduce them to everyone that's around, everybody that's in the office currently, anybody that they've had a chance to potentially run into. Introduce them, because they're saying, okay, we're going to work together. You're hiring them. Make sure that you take the time to introduce them around. All right, the affirmation. So this is that scary phase, remember, where they're having second thoughts and they're like, they go home, they had a good interview, they're feeling really good, and then all of those second thoughts start coming in. Don't forget your tools over here. These are the tools that you can use during that phase to get them through it, to help them through that phase. So this is about keeping them right now. See down here on the bottom, keeping. So you're going to find that throughout the phases, sometimes we're in a phase and then we get to keeping and then we go to another phase and we have to come back to keeping, because anytime they get in any kind of a scary spot for them, you have to work on keeping them again. So anytime you are working on keeping them, these are also some things that you can do. So within a day, send a fun email with all the details. Instead of sending an email that says, first day of work is tomorrow, don't forget to bring your lunch, wear khaki pants, wear tennis shoes, and bring water. Instead of that, how can you make it fun? Yay, we're so excited to see you. Balloons on the email. You're gonna love Suzanne, who you're going to work with tomorrow. She's going to be your buddy, and she's going to take you around and show you all the cool stuff in the cabinets. There's 3 cabinets in the kitchen that you need to find out what's in them. There's a secret in 2 of them that you're going to love. When you get here, we're going to show you what it is. Make it fun. Find some way to make it fun. You could also, or instead of that, send a welcome card. This is using your snail mail, so depending on when you're hiring them, right? If you're going to hire people, you kind of want to get them in there quickly so they have less time to have second thoughts. But if it's going to be a chunk of time, get something out to them. Email, snail mail. Snail mail will work really good. A welcome card. Welcome to the company. We're excited to have you here. Send a fun text. Again, something quick. One of the things that I know we like to do at American Maid in Olympia is we like to send a cleaning question. Sorry, it's not a cleaning question. It is a joke. I can't remember what it is. A riddle. It's a cleaning riddle. I know I'll remember it later and I'll tell you what it is. But they send out a cleaning riddle. Hey, why did the whatever? And it's just kind of a fun thing. It doesn't have to be anything great. I can't even remember what it was. That's how great it was, right? But it works. The people respond, they engage, and again, they begin the process of creating relationship. If that happens while they're in their second thought stage, in that affirmation stage, they're like, oh yeah, it is a cool company. This is a crazy company or a fun company. Now, if you're not a fun company, I do want to put a little bit of a codicil in here. If you're not a fun company, and I always like to use my friend Ben up in Seattle for this. He owns Rain City Maids, Ben Ferris, and he is not what you would consider to be a fun company. So instead of a fun company or a fun email or a fun text for him, he needs to just have something that's engaging, something that's really cool, because his company is cool. It's different than other companies, right? So he can send a cool text instead of a fun text. So what kind of company are you? Send that. Next thing is post on Facebook or whatever social media channel that you use, saying that you're excited to have them. Again, this would be another idea and another way to use that. Send the picture that you took to their family. So I don't know that I even saw about taking a picture. On one of the other things, I'm sure there was one of the other phases, you can take a picture of them and post it. Oh, I think I did say that on the last slide. So that picture that you took, you can also send it to the family. You can, it's easy to send pictures nowadays, right? You can send them in your phone, you can send it by email, you can send it by snail mail. You can take that picture and put it on social media. There's lots of things to do with pictures, but sending it to the family is a different type of a twist that people aren't expecting. And then you get the family on your side. It's like, oh, that was nice. They sent that to me. Send it to their daughter, send it to their dog, send it to their mom, whoever it is. Next one is send a video welcoming them. This can be even a video that is, a canned video, just however many of you there are, all 20 of you that are in the video saying, Hey, we're so excited to have you start tomorrow. Look for me. I'm the one that's going to be walking you around. Whatever. It doesn't even have to be personalized. It can just be a canned video, but a video can help. Again, the idea here is within a day, use one of these tools for connection to be able to keep that person, get them to come in. Okay, activate. So this is the activation stage, day one. And these down here in red are the tools that you're most likely going to use. Of course, you can use any of these tools. Any ideas that you have using any of these tools are going to be amazing. Just pick something, and you don't have to do all of this stuff. I don't think I was clear about that earlier. You don't have to do all of these things because that is just ridiculous, right? It's too much. But you can do one thing. You can do one thing on each phase, each different stage of the relationship. Pick one. If you pick two, woo, bonus points, right? So again, you can post on social media, label their name tag, have a name tag ready for them that has their name already on it when they get there. Take their picture in their full uniform and post it. You can post it on social media. You can post it in your Slack channel. You can post it on your poster board if you have it. Whatever you use as communication channel, post it there. Have a morning celebration. This doesn't have to be a huge celebration, but celebrate. Remember the overriding idea, celebrating the people, your company, what you do, celebrating. So have a morning celebration. It could be as simple as if you have people in your office, everybody gets together and everybody just says, welcome, Lauren. That could be it. We got a welcome for Lauren today. It could be anything. You can make it big or as little as you want. Make sure that they do get introduced to everyone. So I said you don't have to do all of these things, but this one, please do this. This one is really, really important. If you don't introduce people to the other people that are around them and that they work with, they feel like such a fish out of water that it makes it really hard for them to stay. At the end of the day, that's what they're going to remember, how uncomfortable they felt. So don't let them feel uncomfortable. Make sure that they have somebody on day one. Get their favorites list on day one. What are their favorites? Have a list that they get to fill out. It's almost like a game, right? What's your favorite kind of cake? What's your favorite animal? What's your favorite color? And you can use this favorites list later when you're going to do celebrations. You want to know their favorite cake for their birthday? You can get it on day one. Get to know them a little bit. They're sitting around in that first little bit of time trying to figure out what to do. Give them something to do. Play bingo with them. Give them a bingo card. Find an employee that has blah, 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 right? Or give everybody else a bingo card and see if they can fill her in on their bingo card anywhere. So find a way to get to know them. Make them coffee. So maybe they don't drink coffee. That's okay. It's not like they're going to be like, oh, I hate that company that made me coffee, right? Make them coffee. If you make coffee anyway, offer to make them some coffee or tea. And then begin training. Begin training. Even if it's just a small amount of training, make sure that they know that they have begun training. Now, if you are in a situation where you can't begin training for whatever reason, you're so whatever the situation is, and you can't, please, 15 minutes of training. You can always find 15 minutes. Somebody can find 15 minutes. Okay, can't do 15, 10. You can't do 10, 5. They have to have some training. Even if the whole information they get about training is just that how many different houses that we do during the day and 5 of the products that you use to clean with. It doesn't matter what it is, but they need to feel like they've begun their training. When people have begun training, they feel like they're part of the company, right? So begin training. Next is the acclimation phase. It's when they start work. Now in this phase, they need matter, meaning, and measure. Okay, so you need all of these things for starting work. You're going to use these tools, the phone, video, picture, gifts, acts of service, quality times. We're working on keeping them at this point. And so this is some more stuff that you can do as they start work. And it's not just their first day, they're actually getting into the grind now. Give them a buddy maybe. Check in by text at least once during the day. You don't have to do it, but somebody should. Somebody needs to check in. How's stuff going today? Have them send you a picture of themselves doing something on the job. Show me a picture of what you're doing. That's a great thing to do. Don't leave them alone. For multiple reasons, right? You don't know them, you don't trust them, so don't leave them alone. And also, don't leave them alone because they're not comfortable yet. They don't feel like they should be left alone yet. If they want to be left alone in the very, very beginning stages, you might look at that just a little. I'm not saying there's necessarily anything wrong, but just look at that. It's a little odd. Maybe buy them lunch. There's a gift. Maybe give them, this is a horrible thing that we have in Olympia. It's called a gift pack fun sack. And I never say it right. Sometimes I say fun pack gift sack. Sometimes I say fun sack pack gift. I never get it right. So give them something. In our gift pack fun sack, it has a few different games and some snacks and some treats that they can share with whatever team that they're on. You give them a water bottle, it's a gift, right? And then training again, critical. Make sure you get them into training. And training is very, very engaging and helps people want to stay with your company. Okay, in the accomplished phase, the measurement phase, payday, or maybe training, testing, one of those. So your tools here in red, email, video and pictures, access service, quality time. Here are just some examples again. So the first thing, especially if you pay commission or job ticket or percentage, anything that's other than hourly, actually sit and talk with them about their pay. Are their expectations met? Do they understand their pay? Do they know what they got paid for and how it all works, and drive time and when they got paid what and why? Make sure that they understand. And again, this doesn't have to be you, but it needs to be somebody, whoever is responsible. And then send them a clarifying email about pay. On top of that, after you sit down with them, hey, just checking in. I want to make sure that you understand these 5 things about the way that you got paid today. And if they got paid less than they're normally going to get paid because they're in training, make sure that they know that. If it was a short day because of whatever, make sure that they know that. If it's a long day, and so they got paid more than they're typically going to get paid, or they had really long days and their pay was short because they're in training, make sure that they know that. Otherwise, you can lose people for pay really, really quickly after that very first payday. The next one, take a picture of them with their first paycheck. Now, most of the time, we don't have paychecks on that first day, right? Most people are having direct deposit. But if you have a paycheck, you can have one, or you can have those big paychecks that are not expensive to buy, fill in the amount, and take a picture. Looking for some way to make them see that they achieved something, that there is an accomplishment, that there is a measurement there. Ask them, how are they going to spend it? What are they spending their check on, their first check? Probably going to be bills, but ask. Next, time to create a budget. If you are one of the companies out there that helps your employees to budget for their jobs and their lives, then this is when you would do that, right? And right after payday or right on payday, get them set up with a budget. And then toast is just another idea. Toast their first pay with the team. So if everybody is in your office, you could literally have sparkling cider and glasses, and you could actually toast to their first pay. If they're not, if they're remote, then you could do a virtual toast, right? Everybody could say something nice about this person and you could have a toast. We're worried about keeping and motivating people around the measurement, so we need to make sure that we hit all of those points. All of the points about pay, not, let me just make sure that I was clear. Make sure that we hit all of those points about the pay and what the measurement is, not all of the different activities. You don't have to do all of that stuff, of course. Okay, the next thing is the adoption phase, where they actually get it. So in this phase, you are working on actively making them feel like they matter. There's meaning in their work. There's some measurement there that they can see on a regular basis, and that there's accountability, that you are holding them to standards. If you don't have all four of these, they won't ever get it. They won't actually be part of your company. You will always be them instead of we, right? When they talk about your company. All right, these are the four basic tools that are easy to use in this stage. Is social media, video and pictures, acts of service, quality time. You can always do gifts too. But the reason why you guys are noticing that I don't have gifts highlighted on here very often is because a lot of times I find that companies rely too heavily on gifts. And if you rely too heavily on gifts, you're going to find that it backfires, just like if you were to rely only on one of something else. You can't only rely on social media either, only on video or pictures, only on acts of service. And since gifts is not one of those top three love languages that in our jobs typically, you're not going to get your best results if you try to just gift them into loving your company. So breakfast every day, buying them this, giving them gift cards for this and that, those things aren't going to get you where you want to go as quickly as you'd like to get there. Gifts are absolutely great, absolutely helpful, but you just don't want to rely on them. You want to be creative and find new ways so that you can stand out from the other employers that are trying to hire them as well. Right? So put them on your website. Put their name, their face, their image, what they like on your website. Invite them to your company events. So maybe up until now you haven't had any company events, a barbecue, Christmas party, whatever. And you can invite them to one. Post their measurements. So whatever you're using to measure them, if you are using like my friend Martha Woodward's program, Quality Driven, or if you have your own internal program, maybe you're measuring how many, maybe you currently are measuring the towel usage in your company. Whatever it is that you're measuring, post that somewhere. You can post it again, you can post it in your Slack channel, you can post it in your Facebook group, you can post it on a physical wall in your office. Post their measurements and let people see how they're doing. Pictures of their work. What have they done? How did they do? I have a contest out there where they get a chance, everybody gets a chance to show their best bed making skills or their best vacuum carpet lines. Is that a word? Carpet vacuum lines. I don't know the phrase. Let them show their pictures of their work. Invite their feedback. So when I say invite their feedback, ask them for their feedback. That's what I mean by invite. Ask. Actively try to get their feedback. So you can do it in a private group. You can have an issue board that's up that they can write what any kind of issues or ideas that they have. You could do a survey. Invite their feedback. People love to get feedback. Have you ever noticed the posts that get the most responses on Facebook are the ones where you say, which one of these do you like best? People always want to tell you which one they like best. They want to give you their feedback. Right? So give them a way to give you that feedback. Now, the only thing about this is, if you're going to invite people's feedback, you need to make sure that you act on the feedback that they give you. You don't have to do everything that they say, but you have to act on their feedback in some way. All right, and then advocate. This is where you need to be motivating them. You can use all of the tools. These are the people that are advocating for your company. They share your company up one side, down the other side. These are your dream employees. Don't forget them. Don't ignore them. Don't give all of your attention and love to your new people. give some attention, give some time, give some energy to this group of people, and these people will help you keep all of the other people. So give them some business cards, maybe a letter from you in the mail suggesting that they have that they're promoted. Maybe you see some great skill in them. Put it in the mail to them. Listen, I really noticed that you are doing blah, blah, blah a lot, and you're really great at blah, blah, blah. I would love it if you would apply for the blank position. People will actually frame those kinds of letters. A surprise gift for advocating. They do something, then advocate for you. How about a surprise gift? Just something out of the blue. You know that they like red vine, a package of red vines. Hey, I saw what you said on Facebook about blah, 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 about American Maid or Castle Keepers, whatever your company name is. And I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Doesn't have to be a huge gift, little gift. Extend hiring perks. So extend some hiring perks to them. So tell them that because they're such strong advocates for your company, anybody that they recommend for your company, you'll hire on the spot. Maybe you'll even agree to hire them without an interview, right? Because of them. Maybe use their picture in marketing materials, on flyers or whatever else you have, and then give them more responsibility. All of these things are very, very motivating for your people. All right, recommended reading, 3 Signs of a Miserable Job by Patrick Lencioni. He is very much around the idea of matter, meaning, and measure. He doesn't call it that, of course, but it's very, very similar. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. We talked about Simon earlier. The Little Big Things, 163 Ways to Pursue Excellence by Tom Peters. This book is a freaking gold mine. Get the book. And then Hug Your People by Jack Mitchell. And a lot of the stuff that you saw in this presentation was directly from Jack Mitchell as well. Maybe not a lot, but some of the stuff in here was from Jack Mitchell also. All right. I want to tell you about 2 things that we have going also. This is Castle Keepers Institute. We have 2 programs that are coming up in August. On August 24th, we have Foundations Basic Training. There's a 10% discount code if you made it all the way through my very lengthy presentation. And these are the classes that we'll be talking about there, learning about the systems that you need to be successful, hiring, employee training, guerrilla marketing, sales strategies that actually work. And the thing I like about this one is in any economy, that's something that's new and different. Setting, adjusting, and raising prices. Have you struggled? Well, there's an easy way to do that. Some basic financials. You need to know that stuff, right? Your metrics, benchmarks, KPIs, and then leadership habits that you have to master. All right, the next thing is, actually, I guess it's before that event, that's Saturday, August 24th. On Thursday and Friday is the IICRC HCT certification course. It's a 2-day course, and Bruce Vance teaches it. And this is the only house cleaning technician certification that is nationally recognized. So if you're interested in, and I have 5 different points of what you're going to learn. This is an amazing course. You can also get your entire company HCT certified. It's not an easy process, I'll just tell you, but it makes a huge difference for your employees and for your clients. All right, 10% discount code. Go to this link down here at castle-keepers.com/CKI, and you'll see both of these courses. You can use this discount code for either or both of the courses. MSSS, Paid, Service, Success, Summit. It's an easy one. All right. That's it. Thanks for bearing with me through this very lengthy presentation, and I wish you massive success. Stop the churn.